Hi, I hope you're all keeping well and staying safe. I understand there are lots of challenges with trying to study online, especially when you've been used to being in college. And I know you might not have laptops or access to computers all of the time at home, or even have a good level of broadband. So I'm going to keep this presentation short. You don't need to upload anything at the end or carry out any exercise. I just want you to watch and listen. The last time we were in the lab, you put together a PowerPoint presentation, and I just want to look at some of the tools and buttons online so you can control your presentation when you're giving it. To get started, you're now looking at a PowerPoint slide in presentation mode. To get out of presentation mode, I'm just going to right click, and these buttons appear in the bottom left-hand corner. To get back into my slide deck, I'll click this one and end show. We can now see all of the slides in what we call a slide deck. That's the collection of slides, a name for the collection of slides you use when you're given a PowerPoint presentation, your slide deck. When you've got all your slides prepared and you want to give the presentation, there's a number of buttons you can press to get it into slideshow mode to deliver it. One is down here on the bottom right hand corner, and if you hover the mouse over that, you see it says slideshow. Once I click on that, it goes into slideshow mode. I can then press the down arrow, the right pointing arrow, or the return key to go on. That's to progress with the slideshow. I'm now going to press end show and get out of it again. Another way to go into PowerPoint mode is up here on the top. I can go from the beginning or from the current slide. So if I've stopped the slide and I want to continue, or I'm putting a PowerPoint presentation together and I want to look at it, I can use either of those. So now for the rest of this, we're going to be primarily in PowerPoint mode. So we're going to leave the deck here. Coincidentally, just before we leave, I'll just show you, if you want to move slides around, you can just hold down the cursor and you can drag your slide up into whichever position you want. You can rearrange the slides. So I'm going to go into PowerPoint presentation mode again, slideshow mode. So I'm going to go from the beginning. And here we are back in the PowerPoint presentation mode. And what I want to talk to you briefly about, it's only going to take a few minutes, are these buttons down here on the bottom. A lot of students never actually look at these and understand their function, or the ability they can give you to stand out when you're given a presentation. And I would encourage you to give a presentation at any opportunity you can, or to practice these before you give a presentation. The more practice you put in, the more professional you will look. So I'm going to start on the far right. This button here on the far right allows you to go back if you're in a slide presentation, or you can click on it to go forward. You can click on the left button to go back and the right one to go forward. Similarly, you can use a return button or the up and down keys or left to right keys on your keypad to progress back and forward in your slideshow. So this one is going forward, and this one is going back. So we're going to go back here towards the start, just to return. Most people are familiar with those two buttons. However, the next one over is really underused by both lecturers and students, and by many presenters that I see and work with. They're not familiar with this button. So this pen button gives you a number of options. The very first option, which probably the one you would use the most, is the laser pointer. So once you click on that, using your mouse, you can use the laser pointer to point at something that you find is significant. It's very good if you've got an image up and you're trying to point out to maybe a part of a bird's head or an animal's body, maybe a map or a photograph. You want to highlight something. This laser pointer, it saves you buying a laser pointer, is a good option. So to get out of it, I'm just going to press escape, which on my keypad is in the top left-hand corner. So I'm out of it now. So that was the first one, the laser pen, the laser pointer. Really good option. A lot of people don't realize it exists. And that's one of the reasons I try to keep the background on my slides a very dark grey, because it highlights the laser pointer much better. The next option is a pen. If I can get it here, just click on the pen. Now, with the pen, you can draw something. So you can circle something. You can underline something. So if you're given a presentation and you want to highlight something, you might even do it in advance. So you might take your time. If there's something you want to stand out, you can do it in advance. Going back to the pen, you can change the colors. Just click back here. Press escape. Oops, sorry about that. Back in the pen, you can change the colors. We'll leave it on red. You can use a highlighter, is the next one. So if you want to just highlight a particular part in your presentation, you can use the highlighter and change the colors on that. I hope you're seeing that color change. So you might want to highlight a particular point in your presentation. If you're not happy with that, there is an eraser. So you can erase individuals, items, or erase all the ink on the ink slide. So I click that, all of it is gone again. You can do this while you're giving your presentation. Or you can highlight parts of it and save it for your presentation. So that's a good one. And as I said, the laser is probably the one you're most likely to use. You'd want to be well practiced, comfortable giving a presentation, probably before you use the pen and the highlighter. But you could start using the laser really early on in your PowerPoint presentation. So when you get to third year and you're given a presentation on your work experience, it would be a good idea then maybe to use the laser. The next option here just shows all of your slides in the presentation mode, but you can see all of the slides. I wouldn't use it very often. I don't really see a big reason to use it, but just to let you know it is there. And the next one is really interesting. So if you're given a PowerPoint presentation, and there may be people who have hearing difficulties in the room, or you're recording your lecture online, or your presentation online. I once had to give a presentation online to a university on another continent. And just to be sure, I used this button here. And what this does is allows subtitles. So every time you speak, it listens and it automatically types in what you're saying. It's really good at picking up Tipperary accents. You see, it didn't spell it. But with practice, you can get to use this really, really well. It's good on a big screen with a large audience, maybe with people who are hard of hearing, or if the mic system isn't working too well. So there are just some tips about giving a PowerPoint presentation that I would like you to practice. And maybe you could email me and tell me if you found them good, useful, or a waste of time. I don't mind. And maybe you would email me and say, has this method of delivering a lecture while COVID-19 is around of use to you? Or would you suggest any improvements I could make? So that's it. Use the rest of your time to study, and please, please, please keep in touch and let us know if you're experiencing any difficulties. We're here to help. Again, stay safe, and I'll put up another PowerPoint for next week. Thank you.